We've all thought it. Man, I should do something about that. I should do something to make a difference. But it's just me. Just little me. How could I possibly change the world? We're going to talk about it on today's podcast.
Hi, my name is Michael Johnson. I'm a ballroom dance professional, a life coach, and a peak performance expert. I'm part of a group of motivated people who are dedicated to attaining emotional mastery and unlocking our full potential. We don't believe others are responsible for how we feel. In fact, we don't believe anyone can make us feel anything. We believe in the magic of ballroom dance. It has taught us how to improve our bodies, challenge our minds, and inspire our souls. And in return, I want to share those lessons with the world. We are lifers, and this is Magic for Life.
What's up, lifers? Michael Johnson here with the Magic for Life podcast, and I'm so excited you joined me today to talk about this awesome idea of changing the world. I know the idea is huge, and the concept seems a little bit maybe unattainable, or maybe something that's too large to think about. In fact, one of the things that maybe I get accused of often is thinking too big. But you know what? You've got to think big. You've got to be able to see the big picture. And that's not to say you shouldn't think about the small things or the details, but it is super important that you can come up with the ideas that would maybe change the world. Now, you might think to yourself, as we said in the intro, changing the world, boy, that sounds like something that's maybe out of my reach, or that sounds like something that maybe I couldn't do. You know, other people change the world. Other people in life, the most successful people in the world, change the world. Well, maybe just a leader changes the world. Well, maybe it's just that person that has lots of money, or maybe it's somebody that just has lots of influence, you know, like an actor or a singer, or maybe just a politician. But if you stop and think about it, maybe, just maybe, you can change the world too. Maybe you can leave your impact on the world in your own special, unique way. And I know that sounds maybe a little froofy and a little bit airy-fairy, as I've heard it said before. But I want you to stop and think for just a second. What would you have to do to change the world? For you as one person, to change the world? Well, let's think about it. I went and did the numbers because I heard this amazing talk by a Navy SEAL giving a commencement speech. And so I went and did the numbers myself as well, because I wanted to see what the real truth of the numbers were. In order to change the world, what would you have to do? Like the entire world, what would you have to do? Well, let's say that maybe in your lifetime, you're likely to live, 60 to 80 to 100 years. And the difference is growing every day because we learn how to be healthier every day. So let's say on average you live about 80 years. Well, in that 80 years, if you were only to change 10 people's lives, 10 people, that's it, just 10 people's lives, and then those same 10 people went out and changed 10 other people's lives, that would be 100 people. Now, that's only if you changed 10 people's lives. Those 100 people would then change 10 other people's lives each. And if they did that, now we're at 1,000 people. Now, some of you are quick with math, and so you've probably done the math all the way through. But if we do that again, it's 10,000 people. If we do it one more time, it's 100,000 people. Again, for the 5th time, we're at 1,000,000 people. Now, if those 1,000,000 people changed 10 people's lives, we're talking at 10 million people. Now, this is the math. I have it right here in front of me. If those 10 million people changed 10 people's lives, we're at 100,000 people. Now, this got crazy really fast, didn't it? Now, if those 10 people changed if those 100,000 people changed another 10 people's lives, we'd be at 1 billion people. Now, that's 10 to the 9th power. That's 1 billion people. And that all started if you could just change 10 people's lives. So, then the question is, what's stopping you, right? You look at a generation. A generation of people is typically 25 to 30 years. So in a 25-year span of time, could you change 10 people's lives? Well, the odds are really good for it. Let's look at the population of the world. The population of the world right now is about 7.5 billion people, right? Most people estimate up to 8 billion because we're heading there super fast. The population of the United States is only 325 million people as of about 2017. Now think about that. The population of the world is 7.5 billion, and there's really only 325 million people. We're close to 326 million. Now, we're small. The United States and the amount of people we have in it is small compared to maybe the population of Europe, which is 741 million. Then you go up a little bit higher and you say, okay, what's the population of China? And it's 1.3 billion. That's a huge jump from just the population of Europe and just the population of the United States. But you get a little bit bigger than that and you look at what's the population of Asia as a whole. Well, that's 4.4 billion people. Okay, so you look at it as a whole and you say, okay, 7.5 billion people on this planet. How could we possibly affect them as a single person, as a single entity on this living planet? How could I possibly affect all of those people? Well, we start small. And we change 10 people's lives. That's it, just 10. Because if you inspired those 10 to change 10 people's lives as well, it will roll. And it will roll into a huge snowball effect that ultimately could change the entire planet. But you just need to start with 10. Just start with 10 people. Do you think, ask yourself right now, do you think you could change 10 people's lives on this planet? I think you could. I think you might have already. You don't know. Maybe you've influenced 10 people already in your life to go on a different path. Maybe it's because of something you said to them. Maybe it's because of how you treated them. Maybe it was because something you did for them that changed their life forever. It could be one small task, one small deed that you don't even have a clue of. But what if you did it consciously and you did something to change that person's life? Just one at a time. Maybe you can grow from there. Well, how can you do this? Maybe you're saying to yourself, well, gosh, I don't know what to do. I don't know how I could possibly do it. I don't know how I could possibly change 10 people's lives. In fact, how could I possibly change one? Well, it's real simple. It's real simple. You can change somebody's lives very easy by adding value. If you can add value to somebody's life, you will change their world forever by adding value. Now, how much value you add to their life will change their life dramatically. If you continue to add value to their life, then it continues to get better. Now, what if they then decided to do the same? What if you were to pass on this idea that you could add value to somebody's lives, and so can somebody else? You can add value to their life, and that one thing that you could do would change everything for them. So how do you add value? Well, each of us is going to do it in our own special way. The baker is going to make donuts and bread and cake. And it might change somebody's world completely because of that opportunity to have bread that day, or to have a cake for their special loved one's birthday. That baker is a necessity in our world. What if you were an EMT and you saved somebody's life, and that one person that you saved their life were so appreciative that they went out and found a way to get behind a cause that then changed or saved thousands of people's lives because you were an EMT. But you know what? It doesn't have to be epic. It doesn't have to be some epic job like an EMT. See, what I came to realize is that being a ballroom dance coach, that I could change the lives of people forever. And so I set out to do that. I wanted to add so much value to their lives that they were inspired to make positive changes and become better people. And I was going to do it using ballroom dance as a catalyst to train champions at life. Not just at ballroom dance, but at life. And that became a mission for me. It became a goal for me to be able to change people's lives. And I happen to use ballroom dance as a catalyst. That doesn't mean it's the only way I can do it, because you know what? There's a lot more to me than just being a ballroom dance coach. And you know what? I know there's a lot more to you. And right now, you should look inside and understand that there is so much more to you. There is so much more that you can offer the world than what the one talent you might think you have. You probably have hundreds of talents, and you probably can do so many things that maybe other people can't do. But remember, the population of the world is 7.5 billion, and there are a lot of people out there that can do things you can't do. And you can do a lot of things that other people can't do. And you might think to yourself, well, gosh, I have these things that I can do, but that's not special. That's not a special talent. Well, you know what? Maybe it is. Maybe it is to somebody else. Maybe in this world there are people that can't do what you do. And maybe they need your help. But you've got to be able to identify those things that you can share with the world. And it might be, and likely is, something that you take for granted and you don't look at as being something special because you can do it easily. I have a student that is incredible at math. Something to them that seems simple. They don't put much thought to it. The formulas, the equations, the processes just come easy, and they have a hard time understanding why other people don't get it the way that they get it. Well, those people, we need those people to help the rest of us that maybe don't feel that we are good at math, so that they can help explain to us what the process is and what the path is that we should take so that we can understand it like they do. Each of us have our special thing, and I encourage you right now to think within about what's so special about you. And I'm not saying that pessimistically. I'm saying that optimistically. What is so special about you? There are so many things. There are so many challenges that maybe you've overcome at this point. But how can you take those things that you've learned in those challenges that maybe you don't think are special, that maybe really are to millions, if not billions of other people? What is special about you? Because there is something, and there are many things. And if you have a hard time thinking of what is special about you, please send us an email. Give me your story. Tell me what you've been through, and let me help you understand what is special about you, because I know you have a gift. You have something that the world needs to hear about. You have something that you need to add value to somebody's life, to life as a whole, to change their world. And if you just could change 10 people's life, well, what then? Would they change another 10? And would they change another 10? And how long would it take to get to that billion mark where you actually can look back and see through it? And you're maybe not privileged to see those 1 billion that were changed because of you. But you know what? It won't matter. If you've changed one person's life, you'll feel the rewards. You'll feel what you get back from it. And it is special. And it is something that you can't replace. You want to be able to have these experiences. These are the things that make us rich and inspire our soul and inspire us to share our soul. And so I encourage you to find a way today to add value to somebody's life, to change their world. Start with one other person, somebody else in your world, in your circle. Because you don't know. Maybe they'll be the one to change 200 people's lives or 1,000 people's lives. And the odds go up massively from there that you could change the world. But you've got to start somewhere. You've got to start thinking about how you can add value to somebody else's life and to other people's lives. I was talking to one of my students just the other day, and we were talking about how they dressed in practice or to show up to practice and for lessons. And I pointed out that it wasn't just about them. Not only does it make you feel better to dress the part, and this is the case no matter if you're dancing or trying to get a new job. You dress the part. But what if you influenced somebody else that looked up to you? And that's what I told this student. What if how you dressed and how you presented yourself and how you prepared for something you took so serious, like your dancing? What if they matched you? What if they said, you know what, if I am going to take my dancing serious, I am going to dress in that same way? Well, you might have just changed 2 or 3 kids coming up the ranks to follow you. Now, I know that's about dance, but it applies across the board. How can you change just by your influence, just by adjusting something you do and changing what you do? Guys, you just have to find ways to add value to other people's lives. We all do it differently. We've been so privileged to have dancers be interviewed on our show. We've had authors on our podcast as well. And in their way, they're finding opportunities to add value to other people's lives in such a way that they can change other people's world. How can you do it? You don't have to write a book, but you can. You don't have to teach, but you can. You don't have to do much more than dress differently and influence some of the people that are following you on your path, coming up the ranks. Maybe you're going to play basketball. Maybe you're going to invent something new. Maybe you're going to be a healthcare provider that actually saves people's lives and inspires somebody else to do the same. It doesn't matter how you're going to do it. It matters that you're going to do it. Find a way to add value. Find a way to add so much value that people around you are inspired to make positive changes and become better people. And let them know to pass it on and continue to change their perspective on how they can change the world. I encourage you guys to give it a try. Give it a try. Start thinking about how you can change the world just one person at a time. You don't need to do the whole 7.5 billion. But in your lifetime, in your multiple generations, because we said generation is about 25 to 30 years. In your multiple generations, why not start now? You don't have to be an adult. I know I have some listeners that are young. Guys, you don't have to be an adult. Start now. Some of the best influencers in the world were that influencer when they were young. So start now. The adults will listen. Sometimes they're stubborn. But to my youth out there, start now. Change the world now. Change the lives of those you have influence over. Change their life now for the positive, and imagine what you can do over the course of your entire life. Add value. Change the world. Start today and just change one person's life. Add more value to their world. And that will change your world. I inspire you, I hope, to go do that. And I challenge you to go take on that idea to add value as much as you can. Anyway, I appreciate you all, and I'm so grateful that you tune in to listen to the Magic for Life podcast. If you have comments, please send them to me in however you listen to your podcast. If you're in iTunes, please like and subscribe. But if you know somebody this would help, please send it to them. Please pass it on, because we're just helping to change the world one person at a time. Add some value. Please take a moment to share it if you loved this message, because that one moment might change somebody's world. So please, if you have a second, share it with somebody you like, or share it on social media. I'd appreciate it. And let's get going on changing the world. I appreciate you so much. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you at the next podcast. Are you loving Majic for Life? Please like and share our podcast on iTunes or wherever you listen to your podcasts.
Want more magic for your life? Join me for some great Facebook Lives on the official Facebook page at Michael A. Johnson Official.